when you're scrolling on social media, especially when it comes to the business side of social media, the startup side of social media, everybody's always talking about leaving your 9 to 5 and quitting and leaving and quitting. But for those of us who actually have a family, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. What's up, fam? It's been a minute. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Nick Castle, and I built a 6-figure content creation business while working a 9 to 5, still building, still scaling. And I just document my journey so it can inspire others to do the same. Now, I will say the first thing I've learned about entrepreneurship, it's not what you see on social media. Like, social media will have you thinking that entrepreneurship is, working at the beach every day, poolside, eating the greatest meals, traveling all the time. And granted, people are doing that. That's a very real thing, but that's not the reality for most startups. That's not the reality for most new businesses. And sometimes people will become an entrepreneur because they're just so inspired by what they see on social media, but then they don't last long in their business endeavors because the reality of building a business and what they see on social media is just two completely different worlds. Like, I love the challenge that comes with building something out of nothing, creating something, scaling something. I love that challenge, but it's hard. It is really hard. And it's especially hard for those of you who are like me, who are building a business, working 9 to 5, have a family. And I'm also a church planting pastor in Hollywood. Like, we're building a church in Hollywood, California. And I've always been one who's down for side hustles. I don't want to be a financial burden on our church, so I don't take a salary. I start businesses and do side hustles so I don't have to do that. Also to provide the life for my family, that I wish I had. But it's hard, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard. All of those things, that's a lot, right? Number one. But just building a business while working 9 to 5 alone, that is very, very challenging. But although challenging, I don't think I would have done it any other way. Because building my business while working a 9 to 5, I'm able to approach my business with a lot less stress, right? I'm not approaching my business in survival mode. I need 5 more clients to pay my bills. I don't have to deal with that stress. And don't get me wrong, I read founder stories all the time because I'm so inspired by them. There are people who were laid off, dealt with unfortunate life circumstances, and that it forced them into survival mode, and they were able to build $1 million businesses out of being in survival mode. So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, for me, it's a lot different for me, or just those of us in general who has a young family to consider, right? So there's a lot more risks involved when making decisions like leave your 9 to 5. And when you're scrolling on social media, especially when it comes to the business side of social media, the startup side of social media, everybody's always talking about leaving your 9 to 5 and quitting and leaving and quitting. But for those of us who actually have a family, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. When I first started my business, I just wanted an extra couple $100s to pay my car note. And then it was like, okay, let's see if I can make half of what I make in my job. And then let's see if I can match what I make in my job. Let's see if I can pass what I make in my job. But there's still this small part of me that just feels like that's not enough to leave the stability of my 9 to 5. And I love my team. I love my job. So of course, I know that's not everybody's testimony, but that allows me to, to be okay with where I'm at, because I love my team. I love my manager. We got a good thing going there. So I'm not in a rush to escape that reality, which I know, again, it's not the case for everybody. But I will say what's not talked about enough is the benefits of working a 9 to 5 while building your business. We don't talk about this enough. But if you're watching this video right now and you work a 9 to 5, I want you to know you're not any less of an entrepreneur because you're still clocking in. I get you, I see you, I feel you. You're not less of a business owner. In fact, I admire the level of hard work and commitment it takes to do both at the same time. That's a different kind of animal. That takes a lot. Now, of course, they start cutting the grass as soon as I go outside. And I admire you because that takes a lot. And to be honest with you, most people would not be willing to put in that amount of time, effort, and energy to building something while having a 9 to 5 already. It takes a different mentality, it takes a different level of commitment, it takes a different level of support from your family to be able to do it. And it's just challenging. And my wife and I, we have these conversations all the time. Right now, I'm just in a state where I'm just grinding. I'm working very hard. I'm up hours before my 9 to 5 start. I'm I'm up hours after the kids go to sleep at night because I'm in this season right now where I'm just building, trying to scale as much as I can possibly humanly manage while working a 9 to 5. But again, doing it without the pressure and the ability to be able to build my business without worrying about my livelihood and my expenses. It's just a different approach. I'm able to do my business peacefully and enjoyably, but still with enough ambition to pursue growth and not get stagnant. You know what I mean? So last year I made my first 6 figures as a single solo UGC creator. But this year my goal is to scale even more. And so I've brought on more help this year. I've hired more video editors because I'm finally reaching a place in my mind where I'm not after 100% of the pie. I'll take a lower percentage of the pie to make that easier than taking the whole 100%. And just to make this make sense in the context of my business, let's say a brand hired me for $700 a video. There's a few ways I can go about this. If I do everything myself, that's gonna take me hours to do research on that company, to put together a script. You know, some days when I'm in the flow, I can do that in just a couple hours. Sometimes it takes much longer. And then after the script is done, turn that into the brand, they give feedback, make some edits, cool. But then comes the filming part. Nobody can do that but me, right? It's cool. So I'll do the filming, but then it's the video editing. That's another added hours of time just for this one video. So I had to reach a place to where it's like, give me the smaller percentage of the pie. I'll pay someone to write the scripts. I'll pay someone to edit the videos, and I'll be fine taking less for the sake of having my time back. Because when you first get started, it's about how much you can make as fast as you can make it, right? Got that. You want to keep everything to yourself. You want to do everything yourself. You convince yourself that can't nobody edit like me, and I have my own vision for how I want these things done. And I used to be like that, but in reality, that just kind of keeps you boxed in. It keeps you limited because there's only so much you can do. So again, it was hard for me just moving from freelancer mindset to building a business mindset. Freelancers, the emphasis is very solo. Do it all myself. I'm gonna make my own website. I'm gonna do this, gonna do this, gonna do this. But you don't consider the time invested for all of those different aspects of the business that keeps you capped out. And so the moment I began outsourcing is the period I began to scale, because now most of my time is just spent filming. So with me by myself, it would take a day to write the script, to film the video, to edit. That would take most of my free time. But on the other side of outsourcing, I'm able to do 6 to 7 videos in one day because it just involves me filming and I have people doing the rest of it. So that's just something to think about. And I'd even argue that if you haven't outsourced just yet, you're not really maximizing your time as best as you can, especially if you work a 9 to 5, right? You work a 9 to 5, you get off work at 5 o'clock, especially you have a family, you know, you're gonna be with your family for 2 to 3 hours in the evening before the kids go down. You don't want to spend that time that you finally have free at the end of your day when you're already exhausted. You don't want to spend that time doing mundane tasks that anybody could do, that you could pay anybody to do to get those tasks done. You want to focus on using your free limited time on only doing the things that actually make you more money. And as a content creator, that's you being on camera. So of course you're gonna give creative direction and you're gonna get feedback and all this good stuff. But if you're still doing all of those things, you're not really scaling as a business owner, because it is possible to function as a business owner even as a content creator. And so me, when I first started my content creation journey 2 years ago now, because I know my time is very, very limited, I hired a video editor before I even needed one. So I was just getting 1 or 2 deals a month, and I had hired a video editor, not because I needed him then, but because I knew eventually if I continue to grow, I would need a video editor. And you don't want to wait until you're super busy to start trying to find people. Like, I wanted to have a video editor already in my back pocket, so when the time came, we were already ready. He already knew my editing style. He already knew how I like things done. And so because of that, now almost 2 years into this journey, he knows my editing style. I can just send him raw footage and he can edit it in a way without me even giving a script sometimes, without me giving any creative direction. And that comes with time. But it's all because I outsourced before I felt like I was ready. You're already driving yourself crazy doing so much. Like, that at least takes some stuff off of your plate and allows you to just really narrow your focus. Because I've found in my business, the more you narrow your focus, that's where you can figure out ways to scale That's how you can figure out ways to really grow. And here's the truth, like if you work a 9 to 5, you can afford to bring on help a lot sooner, for those mundane tasks, whether it's a virtual assistant or whatever the case may be. If you have a job, it doesn't take your business bringing in so much revenue in order for you to be able to afford those things. So that's just another thing to think about. Another benefit of building a business while working a 9 to 5 is that you're able to keep investing in your business, right? Outsourcing is a way of investing in your business. You're able to do that. You're able to do that a lot quicker if you're working a 9 to 5. Now, I would absolutely be lying to you if I told you that everybody could work 40 hours and build a business. It's not for everybody. Everybody's capacities are different. Everybody's mental capacity is different. And so in some cases, it's not even the most healthy thing, right? There's times where I'm in my office from 6 a.m. That's after already being up at 4:35 a.m. because I work with clients in other countries. So that's me already like messaging 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, responding to Slack messages, responding to emails, coming down to my office 6 o'clock. Usually they're working before it's the summertime now, but I'm usually they're working for an hour or so before we wake the kids up for school. Get them ready for school, drop them off by 8 o'clock. My shift doesn't start till 8:30, so I'm using that 30 minutes to work on more things for my business, to answer emails, to plan out my day. I'm using my 15, 30-minute breaks during the day. I'm using my lunch break. All that time is slotted for working on my business. I'm filming videos for my personal brand, filming client videos during my lunch breaks. And then whatever wasn't able to get done during those breaks, when I get off work, again, it's time with the kids, it's time with the family. But then I'm back in business mode, finishing the things that are left undone because the clients, they don't care if you work a 9 to 5. None of my clients, I don't even think they know I work at 9 to 5, to be honest with you. And they don't care about that. All they care about is, are you going to meet those deadlines? And are you going to fulfill and produce what you said you were going to produce? And so this creates not just 8 hours of work for your day job, but then you're finding another 8 hours in that 24-hour period. And again, not healthy. There's some days, at least twice a week, where I'm probably in that office, 18 hours a day, from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., 12 a.m., right? And I'm not saying this for empathy, but I'm just trying to paint a very real picture. And I'm living proof that it's possible. Like I'm doing it. But the question I often ask myself is, how long can you do it like this, right? A question I'm also asking is, at what level of my business do I allow it to just be, where I can just attain and manage as it is, just due to limited capacity. But any entrepreneur, like you're building something, you just have this thing in you, this desire to just always keep growing. And that's the challenge, because sometimes that ambition can make you just always reaching and never satisfied with where you are. Like, oh man, I could be doing this. And if I did this marketing, I'll probably get this many more customers. And if I got this many more customers, then this, and this, and because of that ambition that every entrepreneur I know has, it's always hard to turn things off for a little bit and to just try to serve where you are better, opposed to always scaling for more. This is just to show you a real picture of what you're getting into, because many people, they like the idea of starting a business, but what they don't see is the cost. And I'm not talking about money, although it does cost money to run a business. I'm talking about what it costs you mentally. I'm talking about what it costs you emotionally. I'm talking about what it costs your family sometimes. How there are some times where they just expect you not to do something or to be at something because they know you're so busy. And that's where it gets challenging. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about that tension of being present for your family while also trying to build for them, to build for their future, not realizing that a lot of times your family just want you. They just want your presence right now. And so this future you're trying to build, it's not a big deal to them. They're cool with how things are now. And sometimes because that vision isn't a shared vision amongst your family, that can create some challenges as you navigate that. And I'm not exempt. That's why I'm very transparent with my wife. We talk at the beginning of every week, and I'm just letting her know the kind of workload I'm gonna have. Like, man, this is gonna be a crazy week, And then she figures out ways within her ability, because she works full time as well, to help support me in those evenings and things of that nature. Like, because I'm still very much present at my kids' basketball games, gymnastics, church stuff on the weekend. Like I'm there for all of that. And just being a pastor, that's not a Sunday only job, right? You have leaders that you have to pour into, that you have to meet with. Church business comes up that you have to deal with. Problems come up that you have to deal with. The people you're leading, they have real life issues that come up and problems and life altering things that come up, and they want to hear from you. They want you to pray with them. Like, that's not a button you can turn on and off. And so with all of that going on, the only way I've been able to do what I do, build what I build, because I have a supportive partner and because I have great leaders at my church where we're able to share some of these burdens. And I'm in the process of building a great team for my business where that could be some more shared things as well. So now, before I scale anything in my business, I'm always looking at what else can I give away? What else do I do every single day to maintain my business that I can hand off to somebody else for a fee? Here, take my money. Take my money so I can get that time. I always need more time than I do money right now. So it's like, to get the money, give me that time, and I'll figure out how to take that time and add more revenue easier. And I think that just comes with time, because with each season, you're having to think very, very differently about the next step for growth for your business overall. So anyways, I think I've ran it long enough. I have some exciting things coming up, some exciting things that I'm working on for my business, things I haven't told many people. I'm just kind of building in secrecy because there's a lot of copycats out there. All right, there's a lot of copycats out there. So I'm building in private this particular part of my business, but I can't wait to share with you because it's going to be another stream of income. And the thing about being an entrepreneur, you try to build offers to where they all kind of build and flow into one another. And so I started off as a UGC creator. Then I started my UGC agency. And now there's a third thing I'm working on that kind of connects those together as well. And you say what you want to about those of us who work a 9-to-5, that's another stream of income as well, right? That's a stream of income. And I'm going to end this video, but I did read this quote that said most millionaires have 5 streams of income. So if you do work a 9-to-5, I'd argue that you're on your way to become a millionaire a lot quicker. Okay, maybe that's not, maybe that's not true, but you get my point. It is a stream of income counted as such while you're building your other streams. All right. If you want to see more content like this and stay in the loop to what I'm building, what I'm working on next, make sure you leave a comment below and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon. Peace.